I do apologize for the delay in getting this video out. Truth be told, this DLC actually took me quite a long time. Before I go ahead and dive into this humongous pile of minor changes, please take note that I have put timestamps in the description and probably the comment section, so you can only skip ahead to hear exactly what you would like if you don't want to watch the entire video. Also, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. All feedback is greatly appreciated so that I can tailor my videos to what you guys would like to see. And if you do find yourself enjoying the video at any time, maybe think about subscribing. But with all that being said, please enjoy the video. Based off of my past experiences, I am predicting that there will be several new bugs and glitches introduced with this update, that there will be lackluster and non-motivating rewards. I hope the new DLC missions change my opinion towards it, but we will see. In this newest expansion, if you can even call it that, we'll go with DLC. In this newest DLC for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, you will be charged with hunting down Trey Stone, who has teamed up... Sorry, I can't talk like that. So Trey Stone has teamed up with terrorist group Ravens Rock and this guy Bukharov, which I mistakenly thought was pronounced Boko Haram in my previous video. I guess Nomad has just been hit in the face so many times he has a hard time enunciating his words. So now he gets on his walkie and just Mike Tyson's that shit.
The leader of Ravens Rock.
I broke my back.
So that's it. That's the plot. This is all I'm working with here, people. Oh, and did you guys ever notice that Trey Stone, the bad guy, is a hybrid name? Yeah, the creators of South Park are named Trey Parker and Matt Stone, so it's like the devs just flip-flop their first and last names. The DLC has 10 missions in total, and they do it Mega Man style, so you can select whichever sub-boss you want to fight in any order. I like that. Straight from the get-go, you feel like you have options. However, one thing you will quickly learn is that there are no new locations or bases. All you will be doing is recapturing bases from the base game in a slightly different order and with different mission objectives and some Ravens Rock stickers slapped on for good measure. That's probably a deal breaker for many people, but before you skip this section, I have to let you know that these missions are not complete pieces of crap like I expected. I was genuinely surprised at the amount of variety in the mission types and the fresh feel that they had. However, I also haven't played the main campaign in a while, so I might have forgotten a few of the campaign missions. If I have, please let me know in the comments if some of the DLC missions were copied from the campaign. So I really enjoyed the variety in these missions. Although they mainly followed Nomad going to interrogate someone, then following some breadcrumbs and capping a boss at the end, dare I say I actually had a good time. And you know what? I totally forgot to talk about Scott Mitchell. He's giving intel in this game, but he plays absolutely no physical role whatsoever. He just starts giving intel when you start Wait, what did he just say? More than I changed my... What? My mom's diaper?
That's my mom's diaper.
Is that a common expression somewhere in the world? I don't know, maybe I'm a little old-fashioned, but if you're talking about changing diapers, maybe you should talk about a damn baby? I didn't feel like any of the missions really copied each other, or I didn't really feel like I did the same thing twice throughout these entire missions, except for the times you have to interrogate officers. And seriously though, these are some of the most spineless elite soldiers if they give up secret information whenever someone points a gun at them and whispers in their ear.
Your back is broken.
What I really like here is how each of the sub-bosses have missions that feel unique. One may have you tracking a missing informant through the snow as wolves are roaming in the area. In another, you may have to rescue civilians that are strapped to explosives. You may have to go after a boss or steal some shit and force them to come to you. Wait a minute. I recognize this gameplay. Okay, I need to talk about this fucking mission right here. This diluted mission is the only one out of this entire game that made me contemplate breaking my goddamn TV. I haven't raged this hard at a single player game ever as far as I can remember. Let me explain what this twisted, sadistic mission has in store for you. So you're supposed to fend off waves of enemies till the boss shows up in a helicopter and then you kill the boss. Easy enough, right? Well, guess what? You won't believe me when I tell you this mission took me over an hour to beat, and I have the footage to back it up. You can watch me try and die and die. You piece of shit! Fuck this game! My biggest gripe with this mission isn't the act of playing it. It is that every time you die, you have to listen to the same dialogue and go through the same preparation period every time. This doesn't seem so bad, considering it's only about 90 seconds or so, and it's much quicker than your Q speed for PvP, but just wait till you're sitting here mouthing the dialogue to yourself over and over and over while you go out of your fucking mind.
I know you're listening, buddy, and I know your plan. I have the drone prototype you need for your operation.
You have two choices. One, you can answer and commit to facing me. Or two, you can sit on your ass and hear your precious shipment explode. Without the drones and machinery of the operation you painstakingly built will collapse. Alright, so you're a fan of pyrotechnics, I get it. Lighting it up in 3, 2... You are good at forcing my hand, Ghost. Okay, got a few minutes until shit goes down. I'm smiling like pretty.
I memorized every spawn point, knew where to put my mines and my C4, but that wasn't enough for this game. The game demanded more. You may be thinking right now, where are your teammates, AI or human? Well, when I'm playing solo, I hate the AI teammates. I like the game a hell of a lot better when I feel isolated and with no backup. Call me a masochist or an idiot, I don't really care. Anyway, I finally beat it in a really moronic way. Turns out if you just run away, the enemies will eventually stop spawning and the boss will just show up. I'm not joking. You don't have to kill the enemies. And the boss, one hit from a rocket and he's sitting next to every other asshole ever messed with Nomad.
Kill confirmed.
When I beat it, it was entirely unsatisfying.
Forced to use the outdated drones for his attack.
One thing I really like about this DLC is the characters. And that may sound shocking as I wasn't a huge fan of the characters from the main game. There was Mads, or Four Beards as I like to call him, Hirahui and Jay's Skell and some others, but they were all pretty unlikable in my opinion. In this DLC, although the writing isn't Oscar quality, I actually enjoyed some of the characters. So I really like this guy, Darren. He puts Nomad in his place.
What? You think a working man can't help you?
He's just a working guy who's going to help Nomad knock out some baddies. There is some good back and forth dialogue here, humorous at times, and it made me wish we could actually see more of Darren.
Oh yeah, what were you gonna do? Disinfect him to death?
Hey, I'm just trying to do my part.
And that's a sentiment I have felt for none of the main game side characters. Although it would help if they didn't have that dead look in their face. Yeah, you're making me uncomfortable, man. There is a mission that immersed me pretty well, this one right here, where you have to rescue these people strapped to time bombs. The voice acting was pretty good and you do feel a bit of urgency as there is a time limit. However, this mission ends in a little bit of a letdown and I'm not going to consider this a spoiler, but be aware some story info is about to be dropped. This mission ends with you killing Bukharov, one of the main two villains. And to be honest, I'm not trying to be funny here, this guy goes out like a bitch. I was playing the mission when all of a sudden it told me to go loot this guy's body. I genuinely was unaware that I killed him. Considering that he was the voice of the trailer and a persistent threat, I expected a standoff or a cutscene or something to let you know that shit was about to go down. This is a big missed opportunity on the part of the dev team. Finally, after working your way through all the sub-bosses, you come to face Trey Stone, and dare I say that this is the easiest mission of the whole thing. There's hardly any enemies, Stone goes down without a fight, I actually melee kill him just for the satisfaction. Ah, that felt good. I don't think I will be spoiling anything by mentioning this, but spoiler warning anyway. It appears that Stone's motive this whole time was just to be famous and for people to remember his legacy, so it's as superficial a motive that is possible. I haven't read through all the documents or remember too much of the backstory. All I know is that at the end he is constantly yelling about how everyone will remember him.
I will be remembered in death and destruction.
So what else is there to say about the DLC missions? Not much really. I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about. With all that being said, I don't think the DLC missions were a complete waste. I had some fun and I would play through them again with a friend who maybe hasn't played them yet. I can't make a determination for you personally if you should invest time and money into this DLC, but what I can say is that I'll give it an 8 out of 10 for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. That's relative to this state of the game, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I had some fun, there is some room for improvements, but if they were just trying to go for creating the best DLC they could without creating any new characters or any new assets or bases or anything like that, they did a pretty good job. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the other things that were included in this update. Oh, you thought we were done now? Nope. We're doing the whole damn thing. Next, I want to talk about Pathfinder. I have gotten a lot more playtime with him in the past week, and my final opinion is that he's alright. I've gotten to use his Azrael drone quite a bit, and I don't think it's amazing or anything, but it's okay, and it makes for a nice addition. You know what? Let's talk about that first. So once you whip this bad boy out, holy shit, this thing's a beast! Oh, wait a minute. That's not the Azrael drone. I got my footage mixed up. I apologize. So here we go. Are you disappointed? Don't be. It's like a Call of Duty chopper gunner, but it's also not like that at all. The thing can shoot 5 rockets, which don't have a huge blast radius. You can take out 1 guy easily, 2 if they're very close. The rockets take a minute to recharge, so you can't spam them, which is fine. But if you want to use your entire arsenal, be ready to fire once that recharges up, because if you don't, you run the risk of running out of time on the drone. No joke. It also contains its own version of a lure, flashbang, and sensor grenade, but I didn't find much use in these. The flash is good for supporting teammates, the sensor is good for spotting dudes, and the enemies pretty much just stare at the lure. Believe it or not, the lure is the most important of these aside from the rockets. You want to know why? It keeps people from finding you when you fire a rocket. This is bullshit, but if you fire a rocket while in an Azrael drone, the enemies are going to find you. That's why you drop a lure every time you fire a rocket, to keep them from walking straight at you. It's as if you fired your weapon, everyone heard the direction, and they came to search. Except you're shooting from a drone in the goddamn sky! One thing that's really bullshit, if you are in an enemy's line of sight but they haven't spotted you, and you fire a rocket from the drone, the enemy will spot you as if your character was the one who shot. It could be that I just alerted them and then they spotted me in that heightened state of awareness, but just be careful of that. And if you think like me at all, you might be thinking, you know, Dom, why don't you use that lure to bring enemies close together and then blow them up? Well, yeah, I did think of that, and it honestly would be better if I just threw a lure myself. All these guys do is stare at the damn lure. It's as effective as a trio of circus performers. By the way, it's somewhat dumb that you need to find uplink protocols and tactical caches in order to use his ability, and you can only hold 4 of these at a time, so there's no stocking up. I don't understand the purpose of this looting except for the sake of looting. It's just not fun. There's no fun to be had in running around looking for these things like a dumbass. Other than that, that's all Pathfinder really has to offer. He does have scout vision, which I found out can be useful at night and for finding tactical caches, but sometimes it doesn't work that well. He has a ration bonus, which I discussed in my previous video, and since then I've actually stocked up on rations and used them, and guess what? I did not notice a shred of difference aside from maybe a boost of stamina. That's it. Shoot me. Unfortunately, that's all I really have to say about Pathfinder. Some of his challenges are difficult to complete, like killing 30 enemies while remaining undetected, but other than that, not much else needs to be said. His drone takes forever to get into, and even then it's just okay. So now I'm going into the final part of the video, a part that I have labeled Guns, Glitches, and Son of a Bitches. Just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? There were several new guns added with this update, as well as some new gunsmith changes. The new guns were the FAL, the UMP CQC, the Paladin, the ACS-12, and the Honey Badger. They also added variants for completing missions, but those are not as unique as these new weapons. Of course, I can't go into depth on every weapon, but I can tell you that these are some welcome additions. I had a blast using the FAL and the Honey Badger, and I am of the mind that the Paladin is a piece of crap. But I had a good time using these other guns. Not too different from what was already in the game, but some good stuff nonetheless. The updated gunsmith system did not impact my play much at all. That is probably the most controversial thing I will say in this video, and I've said a lot of shit so far. But I feel like the gunsmith changes were purely quality of life improvements, not gameplay changing. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have stocks and get an extra boost to recoil or aim speed, but what does this really do? It makes my gun 7 or 5% better in one area, and that's not really much at all. Arguably, the bigger change they made was making underbarrel attachments universal and grenade launchers more accessible. This allows you to change more stats around for each weapon. Nice! And the grenade launcher, I never really used it before, but it is fun to run around and blow shit up. So I'll go ahead and correct my statement from my last video and say that grenade launchers are pretty fucking dope. As for glitches, I didn't really encounter many, but I have heard from people who cannot even access the game currently, or the game blue screens every time they play. That's annoying as hell, but as for me, I encountered a few funny glitches and only one blue screen. There was really only one glitch that affected gameplay, where my wife was seeing enemies in different locations than me, but other than that, they were mostly humorous. I had an experience where my wife executed this guy and was completely invisible. Yeah, it gives a new meaning to the term ghost. Another one, I was clearing a base only to turn around and see this shit, but not much else. As for son of a bitches, well, I just threw that in because it rhymed, but if you're eager for a son of a bitch, check out this freak of nature. Die. Just die. Yeah, that's a son of a bitch if I ever saw one. After all is said and done, I believe I can give this DLC a decent recommendation. It has some nice new additions and some fun missions if you did enjoy the main game. Overall, I wouldn't quite say it's of the DAO. I'm making my own ranking system here, but I would give it a 7 out of 10. At least until I come up with a more unique rating system. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I had a hell of a time making it, as I have over 11 hours of game footage from the Red Patriot DLC. But if you guys do disagree with me in any way, or you have any feedback at all, please leave it down in the comments. But again, thank you all so much for watching my content. No, I'm recording!